March 4th, 2011. My name's Tim Coombs, and I'm a teacher in Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia. Do you teach in a computer lab, and are you looking for an easier way to give tests, exams, or practice quizzes? If so, a Moodle quiz might be just the thing for you. Moodle quizzes can help determine what students have learned, and a well-designed test can give critical information about a student's understanding of the material. And the best part of a Moodle quiz is that the computer can automatically grade most of your questions for you, taking a lot of the work of grading out of it for you. So let's assume that you already have a course set up in Moodle and that your students are all enrolled in this course. Here I have a course set up for my Computer Programming 12 class. You'll see this is the view that the students actually see. So to turn editing on, I click the button in the top right that says Turn Editing On. This allows me to add notes and resources and activities such as assignments and quizzes. So here on the drop down for this week, I see a drop down that says Add an Activity. And under Add an Activity, I can select Quiz. I can also add assignments and other fun things. But I'm going to select Quiz. And I get the interface for adding a new quiz. So these are the general settings for the quiz itself. So I have to give it a name. So I'll give this quiz the name Number Systems. And let's call it a practice quiz. Then here I can put a description or any instructions that I want for the quiz. Now I can also specify the start and end date. So if this is a practice quiz, I could give the students a range of when they can do it. Also, if it was a regular test, I could set the range to be only during the hours of the test itself. So the students can't open it before they get into class and they can't access it after they leave. You can also set a time limit on the quiz right here. But I'm going to leave these things alone for now. There's many options you can select for your quizzes, and you can review those on your own later. We'll just go through a few of them. So you can have unlimited questions per page. These are the neat options. So if you don't want people to be able to cheat off the person next to them, if it's a real test, you can have the system shuffle the questions. So the questions will be in a different order for each of the students. And then you can also shuffle within the questions. So the answers, if they're multiple choice, will be shuffled. So that students can't say, what's the answer for 4? You can also set the amount of attempts that they're allowed to do the quiz. So this would be especially useful if it's a practice quiz. And you can select your grading method, apply any penalties if there's multiple attempts, and then select what type of feedback you give the students. So if this is a practice quiz, it'd be nice to be able to give them feedback after their first attempt. If it's a regular test, then after the quiz is closed, you might want to give all the different types of feedback as well. You can set browser security, which will kind of do its best to keep the students from cheating. It'll open it in a new browser window and won't let them exit that one window to open other programs. And then this is where we set feedback for the overall test score. So here I have overall feedback checked for after the quiz is closed. Then I can set the overall feedback. So for 100%, I could give them feedback that says, your test was perfect. Well done. And then I can set other grade boundaries and what the feedback for that grade would be. So let's save that quiz. You'll notice I haven't added any questions yet. So here I've already added some questions to other tests, so the questions appear automatically from the question bank. But I can also add new questions. So let's, for example, add a new question. So right now, you can also select what category they go in. I'm going to leave it as the default category. So let's, under Create New Question, look at the types of questions we can add. We can have a calculated question, a description, essay, matching, embedded answers, multiple choice, short answer, numerical, random short answer matching, and true or false. The ones I usually use are multiple choice questions, short answer questions, numerical, and true or false. A calculated question is good if you're a physics teacher and you want to be able to add questions where the numbers vary from student to student. So each student doesn't have the exact same numbers, and their answer is calculated using a formula. so that although students have different questions, the system can calculate the correct response and then check it against what the student inputs, which is a nice option for physics or math teachers. So let's try something easy first of all. Let's try a true or false question. So I'm going to create a new true or false question. So we have to give the question a name. So let's call this question number systems binary. And then I enter my question text. So true or false, let's say binary is a number system containing only the digits 0 and 1. Then I have my question grade, so I can assign different grades for each question. So if this was a 4-point question, I could give it 4 points. And then I can assign it general feedback. I can select what is the correct answer. Of course, the answer for this is true. And then I can select customized feedback for if they answer true and customized feedback for if they answer false. So after their quiz is done, it can give them feedback that says whether it's true or false. So if the user selected false, I can provide an explanation saying why they were incorrect, so that not only does the student take the test, but they actually get customized feedback to give them the correct responses, so that when they later review this material again, say on an exam, they'll know which questions they got wrong, and they'll know how to correct them for the future. So there's the question that I just inputted. It's called number systems binary, and if I want to add it to my current quiz, you'll see on the left I have no questions added to this quiz yet. I just click these two little arrows that say add to quiz, and I can add that question to my quiz. Very easy. So let's look at one other type of question now before we look at closing our quiz out. Let's try a numerical. So for my number systems quiz, I'm going to have them doing some calculations, so I'm going to want to have a question where they input a numerical response. Now having an online quiz makes this really nice, because instead of having to correct each of the numerical responses myself, the computer is going to be able to match their answers against what the correct answer is and automatically assign them the appropriate grade. So let's do a binary to decimal conversion question. So the question text is going to be convert the decimal number 167 into the binary number system. And then I can again assign general feedback. And this is a neat idea here. You can actually input multiple responses to a numerical question. So if it was a math question, there might be different probable answers that they might give, and you might assign partial grades for a certain answer. So if here my answer was 1101101, I don't know if that's the correct one or not, then I could say that's 100% answer. Or if they answered 1101, let's say they just got the last digit incorrect. They entered a 0 instead of a 1 in the end. Maybe I assign them a 90% grade for that. And then I can also give feedback for that, saying the correct answer was 1110001. You missed by 1 digit. So you can see how useful, and you can add more choices after that. You can see how useful this is for giving the students feedback, because they can see the answers to their quiz immediately. They can also see why they got the questions correct or incorrect, and they can get that immediate feedback without having to review each of the tests with the students individually. So I'll click Save Changes, and you'll see my new question has arrived, and I can add that to the quiz as well. And there we go. Click Save Changes. Our quiz is ready to go. So I can add new categories to my question banks. I can preview my quiz. So this is what it will look like for the students when they actually begin it. You'll see the true or false question where they just have bullets, true or false, and the numerical question where they input their answer in a text field. So that's quizzes and how easy they are to produce. In a later podcast, we'll review the reporting options for Moodle, how we get the reports of the student quizzes. We can review how each of the individual test scores are, how each question was scored to determine whether one question is too hard and can be omitted from a future quiz, and all the important reporting options available for Moodle quizzes.